Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Breaking Keyfabe, episode 10. I don't know what happened to the last part. The internet went wacky, and it cut off Colin. My deepest apologies to everybody. He'll join in when he can. I'm hoping it won't cut off this time because I want him to have a great experience here, and I hope this doesn't kill the experience. Hello, sir. Sorry.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Are you there?
I can only see a black top, and I can't see your face.
So basically, it will do that, but the people can hear you, though.
That's great. That's absolutely fine. Right, as I was talking,
You were talking about spawning.
Yeah, spawning, little pillock. 13, and I have certain sayings and gimmicks and stuff like that. And if anyone steals them, it's not etiquette, to be honest. So anyway, at 13, it's his first match ever, and he was in a tag team, man, and he goes in, and you know what that is? And you can't use my catchphrase, you little pillock. You're only 13, stuff like that. Anyway, and he's got this big cheesy smile as a lad, and you can't get upset when he smiles at you. You little prat, I'll get my own back on you. Anyway, over the last 4 or 5 years I've known him, he's now one of the best young talents in the Northeast. The Lilac Demon, Spawn, the Lilac Nightmare. And,
the Big Nightmare, also known as.
He's just a nightmare, it's a lad. He's a nightmare. No, he isn't. He's a canny lad. He's a canny lad, real good lad. And anyway, and when we talk, and it's all about, I want to do this, I want to do this. Right, well, set your plan out and stuff like that. What do you want to do and stuff like this? And he's always, have you heard of a wrestler in the UK called Martin Kirby?
Yes.
Right,
Mr.
okay.
Alter Ego, right? Or Mr. Ego?
Project Ego.
Project Ego.
Project Ego. He was in a tag team with a friend of his who sadly passed away a few years ago, and Martin still remembers Chris and stuff like that. But anyway, when I finally got Spawn sat down, and it was just New Year, just after New Year, and I got him in a corner and says, "Come on then, when you come to drop kick then." And I know he dared ask me, and I says, "When you come to join us?" He says, "Anytime." I says, "All right. Well, you're on next Saturday." And I think his backside must have fell off him. I said, "Fair enough. You're on a match and stuff like that." And anyway, I said, "Who do you fancy a match against?" And he goes, "I'd love it if you get me a match with Martin Kirby." Now, I know Martin for a long time, and I know have you had a Mega Slam in the UK? The company Mega Slam does a lot of holiday camps, caravan parks and stuff like that. He's a British champion for them, and he's all around the country doing shows for Mega Slam. Anyway, Martin, just down the road from me, about 20 miles away, a consummate professional, always willing to give tips and hints to the youngers and stuff like that. So I always liked someone like Martin on the show, so I can put him in with some of these younger guys just to see what the level's like and how you match up with them. And anyway, finally I says, "Oh yeah, I'll try and get you a match with Martin Kirby." And yes, Spawn probably won't like me telling the story. It's got a good ending though, so don't worry about it. Finally got him nailed down, and I says, "Right, you're on the September show with Martin." He said, "Great," and then about 5 minutes later he rang back. He says, I can't go. I'm going on holiday with my girlfriend." He says, "You're going on holiday with your girlfriend, and I've got you a match against Martin Kirby? I cannot bloody believe it. What are you doing, man?" He says, I'll cancel the holiday. Says, you bloody won't. You're going on holiday. You're going on holiday. But I did get you that match with him, but you decided you didn't want it. And then his face and stuff like this. And he was trying to think of reasons. Says, you cancel that holiday, you'll get a punch up the bracket off me, sunshine. So anyway, I think I've got it booked for this year anyway. And it's going to be great for him. He's going to enjoy it. And I say, there's another Alan Shaw, King of the Skies, our champion at dropkick at present. This lad, 23, from Sunderland. When initially saw him when we started dropkick, we just did dropkick 10 this last weekend, and it took Alan a year to get to win the title. And this guy, when he flies, he flies. You know, he can step over that top turnbuckle and straight over the top, matrix moves and stuff. You know, anything that he can fly. He loves rooms without a ceiling, and he's always then seeing how close he can get to the bloody ceiling. Always frightens me to death. And when he goes to that top turnbuckle, he looks around at me at coach and says, "Oh, look, Colin, look at the ceiling." No, because usually don't take the ceiling tiles off. No, when he's doing one of his flips or tricks or stuff like that. And I'm thinking, Jesus. But anyway, we're at Billingham St Tony this Sunday, and you know, it's a massive room. You know, he's not going to hit the ceiling. He had a great match. A guy called Ozzy. I had if you've never heard of him, a company over in Carlisle called Target Wrestling. Me and Simon G. Money had gone over there a couple of times just to look at him, see what he's like.
I learned about Ozzy for his first time at Dropkick with you guys.
Yeah, Ozzy. Hey, this guy, he's a assistant trainer up at Valor, up in Scotland, and this lad, you know, he's only a young lad himself, but the fluidity in that match and the speed of that match, it was like, you know, I was smiling from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat. I was, you know, these two young lads, you know, put on a heck of a match, and I was over the moon, absolutely over the moon, because after a match, you can always tell how buzzing they are. Oh, I missed that bit, or I did this wrong. And anyway, you know, these two went at it. I think they actually went over time a couple of minutes, but it wasn't a problem, because, you know, they could have gone on for another 10 minutes if I had a choice. You know, I've got Andy the Bellkeeper next to me, and you know, we have a strict. We've got all the times down, and Andy's there, mic'd up to the referee and co, and you say, right, you're halfway. You got 2 minutes to go. Right, come on, let's get on with this. And you know, I know Andy has a little bit of leeway. If he's especially enjoying the match, he'll just let it go a bit long. And if he thinks someone's not going down too well, even Rob, good to see you. You like come short of it as well. So you've got to get past Andy. My normal tag team partner on commentary, Damon, was actually doing technical this month. A day gone, unfortunately, and Spawn couldn't make it due to a family bereavement. So I had Simon G. Money with the first half and Alan Shaw the second half. Now, when I do commentary, it's all about making everything in the ring look fantastic. And as we know, sometimes in the ring, you're trying to think of things, but I do plan, and people say I do plan meticulously when I have commentary. You know, I've got all sheets to all the wrestlers, and you know, got all the details on. So any times when there's a quiet part in a match, I can always throw out a fact or throw out, you know, a previous match or something they did and stuff like that. Because sometimes with commentary, it's not about talking all the time. It's at the quiet times, you talk, and at the busy times, you just let them wrestle and just get on with it. And now when I was sat down, especially with Alan, as a wrestler, you just get a totally different perspective to a match and stuff like that. And that really brightens my day up. And
you recently had commentary with Dagon, right?
Yeah, we did our first one together. Was at Skills Out in July, and this is when Alan won the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an emotional moment, this. And both Dagon and I have known Alan and watched his career, and he changed his gimmick when he came to dropkick, and he'd been chasing the title from you and G Mackey. And there's another wrestler. Have you ever seen him up at Alba? Guy, you and G
Oh, I
Mackey.
had him on here before. He was episode 3, four on my podcast.
Yeah, you and G Mackey. He's a phenomenon. He's Ewan. At the last show, I had him a fancy dress match between him and Martin Kirby. Now, you might think of fancy dresses, you get dressed up and stuff like that. Not where I am. A fancy dress, and what did I have hung up was actually a fancy green dress. And if you lost the match, you had to wear the fancy dress. So whoever lost it had to wear, not just wear the dress, but also wear it for the next match, to which he had to. And of course, for Ewan, he just, not a problem. And he wore it, and he said he slayed it, absolutely slayed it. And at the latest show, he brought this flipping green dress out again, wearing it when he came out, and he even had a fedora on, looking even more stylish for his match this time. No, Ewan is a fabulous lad. Anyway, to get back to Dagon and myself, commentator skills out. First time we sat together, and yeah, it was good fun. Alan took the title off Ewan. Very hard fought match. I know Alan's parents were there, and his parents come up to me. His dad says, "Is it all right? I can take a video." Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. You know, it's your son in the ring. I'm not going to stop you doing anything like that. Anyway, Alan held it all together in the ring, looking at the title, got out the title, slapped all the hands of everyone going round, give his parents a hug. And then myself and Dagon stood up from the commentary table. We were stood there, and we just put our arms out, and the tears just went down his face. And he knew he got to the top of the mountain, and the three of us had a big hug, and we congratulated him. But this is one of these golden moments at one. He'll never forget, and well, I never forget it. I'm sure Dagon will never forget it. I know next month, Dagon up at IWF, he's having a 3 stages of hell match with Nate Sawyer. So that's not going to be pretty, I'll tell you that for now. So, yeah. And it's just seeing sometimes the achievement in their face, all the training they've done. And it's you give them the opportunities to get there. And when they, as I say, grab the brass ring, break through the glass ceiling and go for it, you just let them run with it. You've got to let them run with it, Brad. It's simple as that, because they've earned it, you know. And I know now we've got Alan as one of our assistant trainers at the Dropkick Training Academy. Every Monday night we're having a break now for Christmas, thank the Lord. And once a month, here's a funny story for you. Once a month, we have a gentleman come to visit our training session. He's a guy called Yoga Beard. Now, you've heard of DDP
Yoga.
Yoga.
About Yoga Beard debate.
Yeah, now, Yoga Beard, a bit of a wacky character as a lad. And when Don Bronson came to me first, he says, "Colin, I think we should do an hour's yoga every month at one of our training skills and stuff like that." And I looked at him, and like my eyes rolled, my eyebrows went up to the top of my head. I said, "You're joking, aren't you? You're pulling my leg here, aren't you?" He goes, No. I think we should do it. Anyway, so I was thinking, okay. So anyway, first night, okay, but due to my age, he says, "Cole, don't you get on the blooming mat. You go and sit in the chair, you do chair yoga, Cole." Not fair enough, I can do this. After the first 1 hour session, I could touch my toes. And I can't remember the last time I did that. I had so much freedom in my neck and shoulders and back. Evening Ali. Oh, he's the little tinker. We tell you stories about that little pillock. Young Alfie. Yeah. And
wait, Alfie Jackson?
Alfie Jackson, yeah. You know.
Yeah.
The detriment.
Current tag team champion in IWF, the Regal Duos.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. but how many times have they stole it? Yeah, I know. I have a big beef with the Detriment, especially when I'm on commentary. And I've got, it depends who I've got. I might have DJB next to me. I might have Taylor next to me. It's Taylor's show this weekend on Saturday.
With Pride, right?
Wrestling with Pride up in Biker in Newcastle. And one of our greatest things at Dropkick, we don't just do shows, we don't just do training skill, we do ring hire as well. And we get all over the bloody place, we do. And the best gig is always Wrestling with Pride up in Biker at Newcastle, because once you get the ring there and you pull up outside the place, and unfortunately this one's on the first floor, so you've got to go up a flight of stairs. Now it's just not like a flight of stairs that goes straight up like that. No, it goes like that, like that, like that, and back again. So you're going right round the box to get everything in. So it's a bit of a chew to get in there. So anyway, once you get everything in there, get the ring set up, ropes tight, all the fascias and aprons put on. That's when ring crew, usually myself, Rossi, and Don, are doing the three, and we'll have a laugh and a joke, and then we go over the road, and it's what takeaway we can find, what pizza place, what kebab place, what fish and chip place, and we rate the gigs on how good the takeaway is. And I tell you, this one in Biker over the road, it is absolutely top form, and we absolutely love that. We're going over. We're over at IWF week on Friday for the 12 Days of Hell, so I can't wait for that. And another client of ours we've seen on the 27th of December is Preston Championship Wrestling, PCW. We're moving to Blackpool and Preston with them, and yeah, we've got a lot of new clients. And if we're not out neck end of every other weekend with a blooming ring hire, and it's a day out, I get to see different wrestlers. So for me as a promoter, it's great to see all these different. And it's sometimes you're not looking at the top star. You're looking at their mid-carders and you're thinking, yeah, I think he's got potential. And that's what it's about. It's finding someone who you think, yeah, if they just got the opportunity, got the chance, yeah, why not? Let's get them in. I know when Ozzy came to join us and stuff like that, and I know now I had a chat with Ozzy on, I've got this young lad from this company. I think he'd fit in here well. I said, well, next time you cross, get him in the car, bring him across. If we've got a rumble or something like that, let's have a look at him. Let's have a go. Because if I can't see him, I don't want to win a book and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all well. As I say, I've only got two rules. The first rule is opportunities, and the second rule is always consequences. So if you don't do what I tell you, or you're a pillock, you get consequences. And Simon G Money usually gets the consequences anyway, so that's fine. Being on the biggest losing streak in Dropkick until this weekend, we actually won a match, and I nearly fell off my chair at that one. But anyway, you win some, you lose some. But that's what you do as a promoter. You get out there, you look at people, you think, can we put these in place? Can we put them in a fight with someone? And you're always thinking, who would look good against this person? Who would look good? Or who would we love to see a match with? And that's, even when I'm just surfing and stuff like that, you think, right, wonder what it'd be like him and him, or these two people in a ring, or this tag team. And we've got a young lad, currently 14 years old, young lad called Jakub, the Polish party prince.
Yes, yep.
And he's only 14. But
incredible.
Hey, I'm telling you, this lad, the sky's the limit. Absolutely, sky's the limit. I've seen him do all his flips and spins and shooting star presses and 450s here from there and the other. That's got no fear. Yeah, and just before the show, there's a wrestler from up in Scotland at Dundee, SWA, Johnny Thunder, and he's one of the assistant trainers up there.
And Johnny Flashback is his tag team partner.
Yeah, Johnny Flashback. Unfortunately, they lost the tag team belts this weekend. Lost them to the Bronson brothers in a rather brutal case of a mugging by the look of it. But anyway, Johnny Thunder.
It seems like the Dawson brothers have gone through a new attitude as of late. The Flat Cat Mafia.
The Flat Cat Mafia, yeah. And don't forget Miss Armstrong, whose favourite word is silence, silence. Yeah, she's Lithuanian, and of course, with that beautiful accent, it's she's got an incredible voice, and we'll enjoy it. Anyway, getting back to Jakub, he was he always comes early when we put the ring up and stuff like that. And Johnny Thunder was there. A Scottish car arrived, and Johnny's in the ring, and I always tell the youngins, always shake their hand, always introduce yourself. And anyway, and Johnny said, get in the ring, come on. And he had a 20-minute session with Johnny Thunder in the ring. And it's knowledge passing down. Evening, Dagon, good to see you. Oh, happy birthday to daughter Lily on her 13th birthday today. Happy birthday,
Lilith Lilac. Happy birthday.
Yes, she said, popped round to see the family yesterday. Took some flapjack round. I wonder if you ask Dagon how much of the flapjack is left. I bet Spawny's eaten it all. Highly probable, or Lily's taken half it to skill to give away, and no, it'll be cracking on. But no, it's just giving the lads the opportunities. And I say, these lads get in the ring with any of these experienced and veterans. It's passing the knowledge down the tree, and you've got to do that. There's no point putting two big top carders together. You've got to get the youngsters, the education in them, the training. Like we've got a great training skill at IWF. We've got a training skill at Dropkick. And we always tell people, look, don't just come here, go there, go everywhere. Get a different perspective. Running low, Gene. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Now, who's eating it all? I bet it's Spawny, isn't it? I bet Spawn's eating most of it. He's going to tell me.
And they also got Davy Dudes in there now too.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Spawny that's eating most of it. But no, as I say, with anything like this, when you think about your year and your planning and anything to do with wrestling, I still look like my Tuesday nights. I'll come home, a long day at work, and then I'll usually watch Raw on a Tuesday night, and then I'll watch NXT on a Wednesday night, and try and avoid every reference in Facebook and social media so I don't find out now that's happening, which is always quite difficult. So usually Tuesday nights is I'll sit down for an hour or so and crack on through Raw and NXT. Bingo, yeah, you'll be right. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yes, I did say to him, you go cut the flapjack up, Spawny. And obviously he must take an half up to his bedroom and scoffed it all. Well, he'll just have to go to the gym a bit more, won't he? Get those tiny biceps of himself sorted out. But no, it's just great fun some days. And I always love also when you're meeting new wrestlers and you look at that. And sometimes, it's great when a wrestler comes up to you afterwards and says, was my match all right? And they're always asking for comments, which I think some wrestlers are sometimes a little afraid to do. And I'm not wanting to say that match was dog crap. I'll just say, right, well, I'm thinking, could you have done this? Could you have done that? Oh, so the amount of veterans
I spent time with before shows and matches within the last 5 years has been the reason I am where I am. What Colin is saying is right, says Dagon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only way the young'uns learn is by talking to the veterans. You go in, you shake their hand. My name is, great to see you. We'll get a match sometime in the future or something like that. Just by introducing yourself, because then not only does that, with the wrestler, and he might be close to another promoter. Oh, I'm looking for someone who's this or here. Oh, I know this young lad down here, or I know this lad here. And if you get your name about, you get your pictures done, you get your stuff done, then at least they've got names. And it's like CVs. We get CVs every week at Dropkick. And if you don't put a CV in and put a couple of YouTube videos in, you know, I'm not going to look at it. You know, it's as simple as that. And also at Dropkick was very focused on producing a polished program for you. So we got 2 video cameras usually on the show, and then through the editing and stuff like that. So when it goes out on the Patreon, it looks top notch. So we only need to do it once. And then for any wrestler who wants their match chopping out of it, we could do that. And then as part of our gift to them for coming to see us, we will send them their whole match so they can then watch it with their trainer, and they can also watch it themselves for self-criticism to see what they could have done better with, and what the trainer thinks, you know, could improve on and stuff like that. And that's why we always tape them. So because then it's there forever. You've got it, and then you know, if you look at something from Dropkick 1 to Dropkick 10 and you see people's progression, you can clearly see it, Brandon.
Well, I am a huge fan of Dropkick Championship Wrestling and what you guys do up there, and how you've talked about the young talent and the people that you've mentored. You mentored Mr. Persona at a good point in time.
Well, I was the manager of the Lilac Legion for a time.
Yeah, the Lilac Legion.
The Persona, when I do commentary for IWF, normally I'm a pretty face type of commentator, but unfortunately, my type of face commentary, I've got my favourites, and there's always people I'm going to slap on the back and stuff like that. You know, Persona's the GOAT. Persona is the GOAT. Self-reflection is the key. Certainly is Dagon. And, you know, that young lad, you know, the sky's the limit. He's excellent in the ring. He plays heel absolutely fantastically. As a trainer, he's strict, he's fair, but he gets the job done, and you learn. Just listen. So I always say, as my old grandma said, you've got ears, why aren't you listening? You know, and no, great training up there, Dagon and Persona up at IWF. Usually on a Sunday from 12 o'clock at Cheers Bar, where everybody knows your name, up in Sunderland. And yeah, great little team up there. Look up on Facebook, Imperial Wrestling Federation. 5th of December is their next show, 12 Days of Hell. There's a good story about the first time me and Genius seen Persona. We said, yeah, right, I will tell that story. Right. It was Spawny, it would be about 14, 15, and myself and Prince Dagon went to a show, and Persona was on this show. And we just went to the show, you know, and Persona, there was a rumble on or something like that, and we saw this young man, Persona, and we thought, yeah, he'd be good. Do you know, it'd be good for a tag team partner for Spawn. And anyway, me and Dagon start looking at each other, and I says, are you thinking what I'm thinking? He goes, I'm thinking what you're thinking. Now, of course, to nurture a friendship between two people, it's very difficult if you push people together, because it usually doesn't work. But you introduce them, they become friends, they start messaging, and all of a sudden, we've got the Lilac Legion. These two, as thick as thieves, a pair of them are now. And no, and I always remember, and yeah, I could still see the smile on Dagon's face, and he saw the smile on my face, thinking, yeah, tag team partner for Spawn. Persona, more experience. I'll help the young lad come along. And so Luchadora, there she is. Another little talent at IWF who's going gangbusters at present. Got a great 2 out of 3 wins. Yeah, she's got 2 out of 3 wins at the latest show. This young lassie, she's amazing. She's just at college doing nursing. I had to sit down with her just before the last show and asked her how it's going, and she was chuffed to bits, and everything's going well. And seeing the youngsters, not just in their wrestling life, but in their personal lives, you know, attaining, being happy, what they're doing, they're learning, they've been educated, and they can see the light at the end of the tunnel and stuff like that. And yeah, I had a lovely 5-minute chat with her just to see how she was getting on. And and she gets in that ring, and you know, as I say, that Alan Shaw can fly. This young lass can fly as well. I think she's only 17, I think she is. But no, she's great. I love all the face paint as well. She loves her face paint. So this is our luchadora, Silverina. But no, it's just great when you. It's like being a potter, and you've got a lump of clay on the potter's wheel, and you know, you let them try and decide what they want to do, and then if they ask, you give a suggestion, and that's the best way of doing it, because you know, if you can decide your own gimmick, that's great. But if I sort of like give you a gimmick, that's never going to work because your heart's not in it. As I say, it's got to be something you believe in, something you can follow through, something that you're going to be happy with, and it's your, as I say, usually your alter ego, what you like to be, and you just let them get on with it. And you know, we could point them in the right direction all the way, but at the end of the day, it's up to them. And we're here to help and support them, and that's all we do. Drop kick, IWF, wrestle with pride, all around. We just want people to succeed, and you see the achievement on the faces after a match. I've seen the sad faces. They've come out of a match and said, "Oh, I did this wrong." Yeah, that might have not gone as it planned, but this was great. So it's not remembering sometimes the one slip up. It's remember the other good things you did well in a match. And sometimes people are quite happy to beat themselves up about it and worry about it. No, the match is over. The match is over. You can go back and look at it, but what you can do is you can improve on it if you think you've done something wrong. And that's what you do. You know, and you come to me, you come to Don, you come to Sam, you come to Persona, you come to Dagon, you come to any of us promoters and trainers, and, you know, we'll always give you advice. You know, they'll even get you in the ring, and they'll show you some things as well. Why don't you do this? What was your options at this point in the match? What were you thinking of doing? And why did you do that? You know, and sometimes it's just, it was a spur of the moment. But the longer time they're in the ring, it's like muscle memory. You just automatically know what you're going to do and crack on with it. And, you know, you'll only learn that by experience, time in the ring, and talking to the veterans. It's the only way it works.
And speaking of, do you mind if we talk about the storyline between you, Spawn, and Persona, which involved you were managing both the Lilac Legion and the Thatchers that they were called at the time, the Bronson Brothers. But then at some point in time, Persona got sent to hell.
Oh, he did. And yes, he did get sent to hell.
And then he came back and looked like he was going to team up with Spawn, but then he became what he is today.
Yeah, this was the revolutionary moment in Persona's gimmick. Thinking, you know, he's done all his face work and stuff like that. Enjoyed the tag team, but sometimes things don't last forever. We did a homework class for some of our trainees a couple of weeks ago, and I know some of these young lads, and we said, I want you to watch, just put in, you're searching WWE Barbershop Shawn Michaels. Okay. And, you know, when I know three, never seen it before, and this is about a tag team exploding. And this was all about Persona, thinking he was better than Spawn, and Spawn was holding him back, and Spawn had gone to the dark side. And the battles, yeah, that is your fault, but, you know, it happens, Dick. Don't worry about it. But, no, these two have had some great matches as Spawn and Dagon. And afterwards, I know the lads, and I'm just so happy that the pair of them get on so well, and they put on bangers of matches. I could go to a show and watch these two fight every week. I've seen these two coffin matches, and I remember Spawn was in with Nate Sawyer about 3 months ago, and he says, "Oh, Cole, well, I've got some drawing pins. I've got about 1,000 drawing pins for this." I says, "Oh my God, I'm just thinking of the canvas at this time." Yeah, Dagon versus Alana Legion. Yeah, I bet Dagon wishes he was 5 years younger, and these boys and them could cause. Anyway, he got this box of drawing pins. I said, "Oh, for God's sake, be careful." Anyway, this box of thumbtacks, you thought would come out at the end just for the ending and stuff like this. A big spot at the end, finish the match. Nah. 2 minutes out, drawing pins all over the ring. Oh, sugar-lumps. I said someone else then. And anyway, so for the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, any move they did on the back or whatever, drawing pins would then stick in the bodies and stuff like that. So you've learned a lesson there, son, haven't you? You've learned a big lesson there. Yeah, he says, I was pulling, and the wrestling boots, like all the bottom of them were all metal. All you could see was drawing pins. I wouldn't care. I had about 5 drawing pins in my shoes, and I was nowhere near the ring. I think it was when we were cleaning away, put the rings out. There was still them everywhere, and I think it was stood. And he says they were in me tights, they were in me back, they were here, they were left, right, and centre, and that's not as bad as when Don had a match at a drop kick with Giovanni, and Italian, and he's got a right twisty moustache. And anyway, the finishing spot, table out, and something put on the top of the table. Antonio Vultua, that's him. And what he did, he got dried pasta, the twirly ones, put them on the table, and then put Don Bronson through the table. Don says that was worse, nearly as bad as Lego. You ever stepped on Lego, Brandon?
Yes, I have. Plenty of times.
Yeah, pasta's as bad. But then the thing was, Don had said, well, the pasta got everywhere. He went up his shirt, down his chunks and stuff like that. And he says, just finishing off the match, it was uncomfortable. So Brian Chaplow is watching. Evening, Brian. Brian, no, this young gentleman here.
He's a referee.
He's a referee, and he's also an angel. As Dagon will tell you, Brian works in a hospice, and he's been looking after Spawn and Lily's Nana in hospice, who's sadly passed away this weekend. And Brian's been one of the nurses there, one of the assistants who'd sit by her side for hours at a time. Also, as he knows, Dagon, etc. It was, and Brian, some days I always tell him to tuck his shirt in when he's refereeing, because that's one thing that gets me. Referees with their shirts out really gets on my. But fair enough. The match we need to call it Spawn versus Persona versus Alan Shaw versus Cheer Striker.
That would be great. That would be a banger.
Yeah. Chase up at Shields and stuff like that. The only thing is, Chase, they do their training on Sunday, so I can never do it at Dropkick. I might be able to do it at IWF. Well, you only need Chase to come to IWF for that one match. Yeah, it'd be a good #1 contenders match or something like that, Dagon. It'd be absolutely great. Chase, lovely lad. I've seen him improve massively over the last few years. When he used to see him naked and monthly shows he used to attend. But yeah, it'd be great to see. And Persona, Alan Shaw, Chase Striker, all high flying. Spawn, he's just the beef. You know, he'll just go knock 7 bells. Have you ever heard of B&Q?
PQ.
B&Q is is a DIY shop in the UK. Okay, and Spawn's finisher is CrossFit.
Yeah.
One of his heroes. He does look back at, and he does enjoy the fierceness of Chris Benoit, stuff like that. So it would be one of his finishes is he puts the crossface on him, and then I'm at commentary, and I'll just say, "Oh, boy wonder," or Spawn, he's taking his opponent to B&Q, because all I can hear is tap 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 tap. And anyway, and you know, it was, and I think 2 shows ago for IWF, I think Dagon had some tables out, and I said, "Oh dear, it looks like Dagon's B&Q as well. He's got the bloody tables." You know, while his son goes for taps, he goes for tables and send people through. But no, these lads, you know, have all the time in the world for them. I'll always sit and accept a message at whatever stupid time of day or night it is from these lads, because, you know, it's all the one and all. Sometimes you just want to chat, just want to laugh at a joke, or they just want to wind me up about my age. So that's cool. And no doubt there'll be no flapjack left. Now his Spawn's probably eaten the last bit of it. But that was supposed to be for his sister's birthday today. But no, he'll have just been helping her out, he tells you. But no, that's cracking.
You also had a group, if you remember, called the Elite at a point in time, which I believed involved you, Bruce, Bronson.
Yeah, Bruce.
There was Don in there, and Logan, and Sean Carnage, right?
Yeah, right. I'll tell you the beginning of that. Initially, it was me and Bruce, Liam, Kaylad, part of Reform Wrestling now. The pair of them fight all over the northeast. It's initially me and him, just 2 of us, and then we got ourselves a bodyguard, big guy called Sean, bodybuilder, gentle giant, lovely guy. Unfortunately, Liam left the company, and Don came in, and Sean was with us, and we had Matty as well, and he was causing mischief and trouble. And Sean unfortunately passed away.
May he rest in peace, Sean Carnage. He was well loved and respected.
I remember going to the inquest and stuff like that, and you know, very sad. But I could still hear his soft voice. And with the Elite, as I say, Logan, you were talking about Logan. I speak to Logan monthly. He's now in Australia. He's I think last month Logan he's working in a care facility. He does nursing, etc., down in Australia, and he moved over there about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I remember him going, I said, "Look, you're at the age now, your world's ahead of you. You go for it." Anyway, he joined a wrestling company down there, I think EPW down there. And about, you remember when WWE went to Perth last year? This year? Guess who popped in to see them? Rhea Bloody Ripley and Carmelo Hayes. You got to meet the pair of them at the training school in Australia, and he was like, "Cole, you'll never get through. We've just been training to it today." Carmelo Hayes and Ripley. I says, "Look, things like that, Brian. I don't look. I say it because I mean it, and it's simple as that." Yeah, but I will say this: I've been through sometimes since I started wrestling. Colin's always been at a spot when Nana Light passed. Colin got me through when I was going for that much. Look, I'd do it for anyone. I don't know. Colin's up, yeah, it was at the doorstep. And I had flapjack in the hand, which also works. Because sometimes food always helps. And there's a funny story. What do you do, Brandon, to wind down sometimes? Something just to bring you down out of stress and stuff. What do you do?
What do I do? Well, I like to write. Like that's one thing I'm really passionate about as well. I like to write, and yeah, I think writing, and also I have like a good like group of people around me, which I really do love and care about, and yeah, that's basically what I do.
Oh, look, birthday girl's just joined us. Birthday girl's
Welcome,
just
birthday
joined
girl, Lilith Lilac.
us.
Welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, sometimes when wrestlers do come to my house, and I have this terrible trick I play on them all. When we're cooking, whatever we're cooking, it might be pies or something like that. But then the pudding is always a sponge, and then there's some type of not like custard, but and I always get them to say, look, and it's got cream in it. If you don't keep stirring it, it'll curdle and stuff like that. And every time I get a new wrestler, I enjoy baking and cooking. It winds me down. It's a creative art. It's something that you just can enjoy it, and then you can enjoy it and you can share it, because there's nothing as good as sitting at a table with your friends, sharing some food, sharing a drink, and sharing stories. And I've had both Spawn, Lilac, and Elaine Persona, stirring this sauce just to make sure it doesn't, and of course it won't. But you don't tell them that. You just let them do it. And look, you got to keep stirring. If you stop stirring, it'll go wrong. And it's just a little taste, but then you get to share it, and then you get to eat it, and then you just enjoy the stories.
Sounds very nice.
And, well, it's like I said, just after losing Nana and stuff like that, you've got to get all the stories from all the people you love, and you've got to understand the meanings to them, and the references they're making and stuff like that. My old great gran, she used to always tell us stories that always had a moral in them and stuff like that. And that for me would be like 55 years ago, and I can still remember some of them nowadays. And it's just because once they're gone, and you'll never get that time to tell a story or have that recollection, or tell them that you love them, or tell them that you miss them. But they're always in your mind, they're always in your heart, and that's the simplest thing. I know, young Lily, watching that legends, their pities, making babies, that was the right thing. Yeah, well, where I'm like, I just, I'd have wound up, and no, yeah, I even got aprons for to wear as well. So I should have got my chef's hat as well, but no, I thought that'd be taking the piss a bit more. No, I better not. But that's cracking. But no, the main thing is, I know when we started Dropkick, have I told you about the first day of Dropkick? Have I told you the story about it? Oh, this is absolutely crazy, this is. I was never opening a wrestling company, never in a month of Sundays. And it was just come to 2 years last June. And Simon G. Money comes, he says, Colin, company's gone down, and they've got 5 shows, 5 galas, 5 events. They've said they're going to do, and they can't do them. We need to put the show on. I says, oh, for God's sake, well, what do you mind for? Well, you'd be good at this. And it was myself, Simon, and Don. And we said, all right. And this was 1st of June. It'd be something like the 1st of June or something like that, or the first week of June 2 years ago. And Simon had got all the wrestlers together. We got a budget, and we paid all the wrestlers and stuff like that. And then it was at a football club. It was the Battle of Birtley Cup. It was a Birtley Football Club near Newcastle. And anyway, the organisers said, what do you call your wrestling company? We never thought about it. We never thought of the name of the company. And if anyone's ever been with me to a wrestling show, there's one thing, part of my gimmick and stuff like that. If I ever see a drop kick, I always shout out drop kick. And even at some places now, they still can't bloody drop kick, and I'm not there. So anyway, we're going home in the car, me and Simon back home. I said, look, we haven't got a bloody name for this. And he says, oh, right, we're going to have to name something, and anyway, I said, Dropkick City Wrestling. People know, they'll get the reference and stuff like that. So Simon got on his phone, Dropkick City. No, we can't have that. There's a company in Canada that's got that. Oh, bloody hell, flipping it. We can't do that. All right, then. Got about another 5 miles out the Dropkick Championship Wrestling. And he looked, all the stuff, it wasn't there. So he says, all right, then. He says, I'll do it as soon as I get home. I says, no, it's late. Do it tomorrow. Anyway, the Pelican stayed up all night, set up all the Gmails, the Facebooks, Instagrams, TikTok, set them all up that night, and that's how we got the name Dropkick Championship Wrestling. And it was just in a car ride home, thinking, we haven't even got a name for this company yet. We've already done one show. So, crackers. Absolutely crackers. Spoke to the guy who owned the ring and stuff like that. We came to an arrangement on the fee for the ring. And our ring is a 16-foot ring, absolutely beautiful. It used to be an NXT UK touring ring. Beautiful piece of machinery. And even when we go on ring hires now, and people see our van drawing up, and they know, oh. And I do remember a wrestler say to me, whenever I see your ring, I know there's two things. One, it's got a good bump, and two, the ropes are tight. So sometimes you get one or the other, but with your ring, you get both. And they do the second rope cutters and stuff like that, and they're not worried about the ropes being slack or anything like that. Always tight. We always have them right tightened up. And, people always, look in your ring. And they always see a smile on their face. Oh, good, it's drop kicks on today. Oh, that'll be carrying that well. So it's great. And it's just lovely to see that they can excel, knowing the ring is going to be perfect for them. And it's going to let them do what they're best at, and that's wrestle. And if they're these high flies and stuff, they have the confidence to get up to the top turnbuckle and fly, or if they want to do some type of springboards or anything like that, it's fine. And it's a beautiful bump. A beautiful bump.
I have seen some amazing bumps come from your ring, like from watching it from my end. I was enamored from the first time I saw Dropkick Championship Wrestling, and it was one of your free matches that you guys posted up on your YouTube channel. It was Ewan G. Mackey versus Don Bronson.
Oh yeah, they still just knock the snot out of each other. These two. That'd be a gala, I would have thought, wasn't it?
Huh?
That be was that. I think was that at a gala. Was that?
That was outside. It was outside. It was one of your free matches that you guys posted up on your YouTube page. Like I think it was Free Match Monday.
Yeah, that was at Seaburn. It's for Armed Forces Weekend in the UK. It's usually the last week in June, and we've got some very good friends there, part of the Veterans Association, and we do like an hour's wrestling show for them for the 2-day event. So we do it on the first day, take it all down, leave the van there, and come back the next day and crack on with it again. And the great getting out, seeing people. We do one venue. It's called Rainton Arena. It's the I think it's Hortley Spring, and what it is, a massive arena, and this is Washington Football Club. They hold their prize giving for all their sections of their football club, from under 6s to under 16s. I think there's a few other local football clubs as well. But this place, they book Dropkick to put on 2 1-hour presentations for them. But the reason we love going there is that you've got the ring, there's bouncy castles all the way around the internal of the hall. We've got the ring at this end, but behind us, there's a 50-foot by 12-foot video wall. Okay. So when the wrestlers come walking out, there's a 50-foot by 12-foot image of their video and their name walking out to it. And as I say to anyone who gets there, this is great for your CV. Of course, I could only book so many people for the show, but we always have a rumble. Anyway, I had a phone call from Patrick from Dundee and Angus wrestling company. They're up in Scotland, and it's about 4 hours to get down here. And I says, look, I've got nothing in the budget. I can't. No, we're coming down. Could you just stick us all 5 of us in the rumble? Absolutely. I says, you really want just to walk in front of the screen, your name and lights and stuff like that? I says, that will get you, your top of your CV. Young lass Penelope Grace, she just come back from Canada, along with Big Mick, who we use. He's just come back from Canada, from China. We've been wrestling there with Vala, and these big screens that got all your details and stuff like that. Don Bronson, I could never get him on one of these. He's always got something on, and he's never hit one yet. So we've got to get him on a show, and I've also got to get Dagon on a show, and just see big name and lights, like Little Legion or something like that. But for them, that is worth. And they came down for nothing, these lads and lasses from Dundee, just to get this picture, because as I say, we do video everything, and everyone's entrance is all up there. And yeah, it's just fantastic. And I said, for us, we love putting on that show because it showcases all this young talent and all this talent. I think in the Rumble, we must have had about 20, 30 people. I think we only had about 8 or 9 contracted, but all the rest come for nothing, just to get in front of that screen and get their identity logos up. Cracking. And that's rule number 1 again. It's an opportunity, and you might have taken a hit for not being able to get a feed because I didn't have that much in the budget, because I wasn't expecting 20 people in the blooming Rumble. But anyway, that's part of life's rich tapestry. And they're all so happy. He shook me out. Thanks very much. And says, oh, anytime, and I always try and keep up to date with everyone who's either on a dropkick show or has come down to visitors, and just keep putting a like and a tick on their social media or making a little comment, because for me, it's knowing that they're cracking on. We had a show, I remember, this happened summertime, and it was, got a phone call about 3 days before the event. Oh, can you do a birthday party at York? Now, York for us is about 30 miles down the road. And Rob Galbraith from FCW rang me up and said, Colin, I've got this gig, I can't get my ring and stuff like that. Could you do it? He says, I'll send a car full of wrestlers over. And anyway, he did. Cracking. Now, when I say a birthday party, guess how old the person's birthday was, Brandon?
10 or 11, maybe?
She was 70.
Dang.
Yeah, she was 70. You were nowhere near. You were that far out, you needed snooker sunshine. Anyway, we got the ring up, and the 4 lads had come across. Part of Marty Jones' wrestling school over there, some with FCW as well. And met a young lad there called Charlie Mayne, and great character. I always keep an eye. He's going to be big. He's going to be a big lad. He's going to be Charlie Mayne. Just have a look up for him somewhere. And no, we had a great. We only got halfway through the show. We were outside. It just started to rain. I said, look, we can't go on. She said, no, Phil. But then she had plenty of pictures with all the lads in the trunks and stuff like that. Oh, she was a game old bird. She was. She was happy that we turned up, done a wrestling show for him, and this was her birthday, and that's what she wanted. And sometimes little stories like that, and little friendships, and as I meeting new wrestlers like that. I've seen 1 or 2 of them that we had from that show, and I keep seeing them around. And if I see them at a different show, I'll say, hello, how are you doing? What you're up to, and stuff like that. And it's all a big family, and you just got to keep people within you in your circle, and people who just need to check up on, and just sometimes, are you all right? I haven't seen you doing in a wrestling for a month or two or stuff like that, or might have an injury or something like that. Well, let's have a chat about it, stuff like that. When you're going to be better, what you're going to do, and stuff like that. So, crack on.
How do you balance the business side of running a promotion with the creative aspects of storytelling?
Well, it's quite lucky. With the three of us as partners, myself, Simon, and Don. Simon does most of the creative work. Don does everything with the ring, and I do what's called F&F, finance and no, can't say the second word. Yeah, I deal with all the crap bits of running a promotion, being the nasty man, and being telling people if sometimes they've broken one of my rules, I've got to tell them. As simple as that. That's just part of it. No, the three of us will have a sit down. We'll have a chat about storylines the next 6 to 12 months. I talk to the wrestlers we need and plan what stories we want to tell and why we want to tell them and why we think they're going to kick on. And then you just leave Simon on with that. He'll crack on with that. Don will deal with everything with a ring and stuff like that. I'll deal with ring eyes, people ring it up and bucket them and stuff like that. And we'll just get on. So it's three legs of the business. I say Don trains. He's a main trainer. Simon is he's an actor. That's what he is, and he's great at helping people do promos. He's great at people getting them to project their voice. He's great, just giving them some ideas and stuff like that. He's great to have around with especially youngsters. I remember a young lad. He came to us about 6 or 8 months ago. He couldn't do a promo for nothing. We just sat him down, told him the elements of making a promo with this, and this. Think about it. Then about every week, we had him cracking on to do a promo. And within 3 months, he could just reel one off the top of his head. And we still do that now. And yeah, it's just something Simon's very good at. So people with their strengths, you let them train the ones and get them up to speed and stuff like that. As I say, our training skill is not just about getting you a better wrestler. We need you to do bumps and stuff like that. If you're going to be doing a manager's role or anything like that, we're going to need you to be able to at least take a bump correctly. But also, it might be commentary. Someone sits with me half down, he does announcing, he'll do commentary with me now and again. And it's all about, even if you're the golfer, you go for this, go for that, it's not a problem. You might do audio, you might do tech desk, even one night of training for the first half an hour. Right, there's a commentary desk. I'm going to show you all how to put it together and set it up. And then we're going to get a match on the ring for 5 minutes. And what you're going to do, you're going to commentate with me with it. And sometimes you find golden nuggets, something that someone wouldn't have a clue how good they are at it. All of a sudden, you sit him next to me, and I'm thinking, well, this young'un knows what he's talking about, or this lad doesn't have a clue, or whatever, or this young lass, I can see someone there. I think she could be good at this, or as announcers, or anything like that. And it's what about is giving them a rounded career. So when you say you've been in the dropkick training school, oh, we've learned about announcing, oh, we've learned about commentary, we've learned about this, we've learned about that. After an announcer, I think he got a gig up a couple of weeks ago at W3L with Mike Musso, and he cracked it up there. And I know when I saw half done this week, and said, "How did you gig to?" Oh, it was fabulous and stuff like that. I think Tim Strange had driven him up to, I think it was Dunfermline or somewhere up in Scotland anyway, for the show, and two of them being big lads as well. They were talking about trying to portray a big guy in the ring and the moves and stuff like that, and that brain drain from Tim to half Dan would be great. Now you're sitting in the car with someone for 3 hours and you can ask him as many questions as you want. It's as I was saying, to young wrestlers. If someone's going on a show, get in the car and go with them. Introduce yourself to the reporter. Hello, my name's so and so. You know, da da da. I can send you my CV. Da 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 da. And just sometimes, if you know someone's come out of their way just to talk to you, and you know they've come in a car for 100 miles to meet you, you think, I'll give him a chance. I'll give him a look, or I'll spin it across to one of the other companies that are good friends. Say, have you thought about this, lad? And that's what it's about. It's about rule one again, opportunities, Brandon.
How has the wrestling industry changed since you started, and what's your take on those changes?
If we go back to the 1970s, it was I didn't see a lot apart from things in the UK. As I say, when I started, Sky used to put I remember Wrestling Challenge with Bobby the Brain and Gorilla. You know, that was great. That was, to me, that was, you know, two greats. And as I say, with NXT UK started up, it pulled a lot of the elite type of wrestlers. And then, of course, there was the calling out movement, and this certainly caught a few of them. There's still some bad apples, I'm sure. But, you know, at any point, you know, if you break the rules to its consequences, you're out the door. It's as simple as that. In the UK at present, we've got a lot of great promotions: Progress, Rev Pro, North. Used to have a company called Tidal. I haven't seen them work. NGW in Hull. They have a great following. They have a great Christmas show. They get 1,200 at their show in December, and it's a massive show. You know, for all the small independents, you know, we'll have a show, and if we get 70, 100 people there, we'll be happy. And we're charging a tenner for adults, £5 for a kid. And then people go to WWE at Newcastle, and they're paying 70, 80 quid to sit that far away to watch a show. And I'm thinking, you could come all year to our show and watch 6 shows or 8 shows for the price you've just paid for that. You'll be this close to the ring. You can speak to the wrestlers. You can have a picture with the wrestlers for not any charge more. And you can get involved, and you can get, you know, and sometimes, you know, I thank WWE, AEW, and all the big guys for what they do. But sometimes there's no one supporting us financially. It's not like the Football League where the money's handed down from the Premiership down the leagues. No. We're going to stand on our 2 feet. And, you know, it may become difficult for some companies. But at the end of the day, we're going to get people through the door. We're going to put good wrestling shows on. We're going to tell stories. And we've also got to make you interested to want to buy a ticket. We've got to find that hook that'll get you through the door. And, of course, social media nowadays is the king with this. You know, we print posters, we print flyers, social media and stuff like that. And you got to try. You got to change your strategy now and again, but that's what it's about.
So how do you scout and develop new talent for your promotion and your partner promotions?
Right. 3 ways. 3 ways. One, to all our galas in the summertime, there's always flyers say, come to the Wrestling Guild first lessons free and stuff like that. Come and see us. That's number 1. 2 of the scouting. When I go out, when any of us go out, we go to a different company show and stuff like that. You always use etiquette. If you're coming along, always chat to the promoter, say it's okay for me to come along, or you just turn up if you know them well, and then just have a chat with them after and say, oh, I'm very interested in such and such. What would you think about? Is he ready for a show? Is he ready for this, that, and the other? That's always a good chance. And with us local companies in the northeast, we will spin talent around through the different companies. If we think it's gonna give them, shall we say, the experience, and it's what they need. You know, we've only got, say on a show we've got 6 matches, so you've probably got 5 singles matches. You might have a triple threat in there, and you might have a tag team. So you need about 13 or 14 wrestlers for every show. So you got 14 places. And to get one of those 14 places on that show, you've got to think about who you want and why you want them. Are they in a story, or they're here for 2 or 3 shows just to make a brief appearance and stuff like that? And as I say, we keep using people we like and people who we want to see. And we always knock on the door. And as I said, I spoke to a young lad, a guy called Ernest Boggs, and I think he wrestles over in Blackpool and stuff like that. Great heel character. He does bump well as well. Really enjoy watching Ernest Boggs. Get to have a look at him on YouTube. That's great fun. Another guy over there, RPD, champion current at PCW.
I know
real
about
nice
him.
Guy.
Yeah.
Real nice guy, RPD. Really enjoys company. And he always shake me hand as a chat. And yeah, cracking. Absolutely cracking. What's your next question?
Next one, good sir, is what's the biggest risk you have taken in your career? No matter whether it's as a promoter, commentator, manager, or even a mentor, what's the biggest risk you have taken? And was it worth it?
Risks, right. With risk, it's there's 2 parts of risk. There's risk and reward. So if you don't stick your neck out, you never know if someone's going to chop it off. Risk and reward, sometime. Yeah, I'll tell you a good story about risk and reward. Young lad sent us a video, Silas Everett, young lad from Scotland, and he wears a mask. And I remember
Him and Eugene Mackey are a team now.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story. I was a bit annoyed with the lad. For the first time he came to galas and stuff like that, he wasn't wearing the mask. And then when he put the mask on, I says, "You look a lot better with the mask on." Absolutely. And he looked at me and he thought, "What?" No, I said, "It just makes you look for your character." That's right. Anyway, young Silas, we've had him in since day one, and we've always said we're ready to strap a rocket on you son, sooner or later. And with this openweight tournament that we currently just completed, and Silas was the victor. He finally turned heel with UNG Mackey in his logo, waffled Satchel Jones with the openweight belt, and became the openweight championship. And this is risk and reward, Brandon. That young lad came with after us. "Oh, sorry, Cole. I don't think I got the ending right." I said, "No, the ending was fine. The ending looked well." And he says, "I just want to say thank you for having the trust in me." I said, "Look, you deserved it. We saw you on day one, and we always thought we were going to do something with you. And this is the thank you we've done." And he says, "This is the first belt I've ever got." And I says, "Well, you better do well and hang on to it then." And then I told him, "Oh, I didn't really tell you the stipulation about this belt, did I?" Oh, dear me. And anyway, the stipulation to the openweight belt is, right, you may be champion, and that's cool. Absolutely. But guess what? I get to choose who you're going to fight next. And that's pretty cool, isn't it? But then your opponent gets to choose the stipulation in the match. And you see, you've just put a guy out there called Asylum. And if I ever chose Asylum, I would say to Asylum, "Well, why do you have a body slam match then at Asylum with him?" And looking at the size of Silas and the size of Asylum and Silas, you knew that's what it was. So this belt is a bit of a hot potato. Your opponent chooses stipulation, so you never know what's going to come at you. It might be Royal Rumble rules. It might be if you go out the ring, 2 feet touch the floor, you've lost. Simple as that. It might be you can only win by pinfall, or it might be you only win by submission, or it might be 2 out of 3 falls, or there's numerous combinations and types of matches that will always put it against the champion. So, Silas, I said, good luck. I hope you hold it for a while. So, I think I know the stipulation for his first defence yet. I knew he was going to face, but he doesn't yet. And I'm not going to probably tell him not till after Christmas anyway. So, I'm going to let him have a nice Christmas before I tell him he's going to get. But
Definitely a big Christmas present, that's for sure.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. It'll be Happy New Year, Silas, as well. But the lad, he was being from here to here, and he says, "Can I take the belt home?" I says, "Well, you've won it. You take it with you. You look after it." And I says, and I always remember a funny story with Alan Shaw when he won the belt at Skills Out. I sent him a message the next day. I says, "Did you sleep with that title belt last night?" And he thought, maybe. And I haven't sent that to Silas yet, but I says, when you're up in Scotland, where you're doing all them shows, just you keep that open weight belt, clean it, say, check with the promoter if it's all right for you to show it and stuff like that, because some promoters get a bit of a funny face about it. So if you want to defend it anywhere up in Scotland, be my guest. Be my guest. You're our diplomat. You're our champion. And if you're a champion, you defend it. That's what we feel about it. You crack on. You've earned it. You wear
it. Big respect right there, and giving the company basically in his hands, like he's a goat for the company.
Hey, he's a young lad. He's been, I can't remember how many years he's been training now, but sometimes you just see that spark and you think, yeah, there's something in this lad. Let's run with it. And that's what you got to do. There's a lot of people just get turned over like a page in a book, but sometimes you got to mold them. You got to chat with them. You got to talk to them. You got to understand what they're looking for. You got to understand what I'm looking for, and the team here are looking for. And the young lad, polite, respectful, a real nice kid to chat with him. I'm quite sure that belt has not been within 6 feet of him for the last 2 days.
Have you ever had any particular tough moments in your career? How did you overcome them?
Right. Well, the biggest moment was Sean's funeral. I always get emotional at this point as well. I was asked. I found a lovely poem about him and to do part of the eulogy, but unfortunately, they didn't have time for me to do that part of it at the funeral, because at a crematorium you've only got so many minutes. You've got to be in and out there. So family first. I just read a small poem, and then when we got back to the wake afterwards, I still remember looking at the cards in front of me, and I got through maybe the first 2 lines of it, and then all I could feel around me was I could still see him, I could still feel him. I just started crying. And anyway, all the lads I felt arms on my shoulder, and we got through it. That's one of the toughest things I had to do. Say something at a funeral of one of our lads. That's one of the hardest things to do ever. And yeah, but all the guys around me, they were supporting me, and that was fantastic. A lot of tears, but there was a lot of good stories, and I'll always remember Sean and looking at him fierce, built like a brick house, but he was a gentle giant, absolutely.
He's always with you, Colin, and my deepest condolences to all you guys and his family, dearly.
On my phone, the front screen of my phone, there's a picture of Don and Sean, and that's on my phone. So every time I wake up every morning, I see those two pellets smiling at me. And the picture was taken at a pub in Seaham, and we had a bit of a get together. The four of us in the Legion, not in the Legion, in the Elite at that time. And there's a great picture of the four of us at the time. And it's memories. They'll always be a part of you. And, you know, it's bittersweet because he still makes you smile, but you do miss him. Died too young. In his early 40s he was when he passed away. You know, very sad. Very sad. Anyway, Brandon, come on, cheer me up a bit.
Well, what's your vision for the future of your promotion, and how do you plan to achieve it?
Right. The plan for Dropkick is threefold. It's very easy. We've got a short, medium and long-term basis. Looking at our goals we set last year, we've about ticked all of them. We've had 10 house shows now. We've done neck end of we're into the teens of gala shows, and now we're neck end about every weekend with a ring hire, making new companies wanting to ring hire offers and stuff like that. Training school, that's also look to develop that. At the end of the day, if everything breaks even, everyone's happy. We're not here to make money. In any wrestling company, you don't make money. You know, it's very hard to make money, shall we say. You know, we just want it to wipe its face, and we want to produce and be a part of these youngsters who come through our doors, come through our shows, come to our galas, and then go on to better things. We're not the top of the ladder. We aren't. We are not the top of the ladder, but we are a stepping stone onto the ladder. So you can say, oh, I had my chance at Dropkick, da-da-da-da-da. Fortunately, one thing about Dropkick, it's got an excellent reputation. It's also got, nobody has any real beefs with this either, because I know some wrestling companies can get a bit funny-faced with you. But, you know, that's not my problem. I'm not worried about if you don't get it with me. That's your problem. We'll crack on doing what we do, supporting our wrestlers and supporting our stories. And, yeah, those are the three things we're looking. You know, we've got 6 house shows next year all sorted, all the dates and times of that sorted. We've got the gala shows all about nailed. We've only got one to really nail down, and then those get filled in by the ring eyes. And ring eyes are going that well. And the boys keep asking me, are we going to get a new ring, Cole? Are we going to get a new ring? You know, and this is something that they're really, I says, look, if we save up for it and we do well, it's not a problem. But I says, look, it'll only happen by work. And you know, that is the next thing we're going to look at is a new ring sooner or later. But as I says, it'll only work if the pennies come in the right place. If it doesn't, we won't. But the plan is, and looking at the budgets and looking at the forecast, that's what we're going to try and do over the next year or two.
And you were explaining to me how you have like a basically Simon G. Money and Dawn to help you with booking and such. Is there a process to it, or is it more instinctual?
You know, we have regular meetings. We usually go around Don's house, and we have Andy the Bell keeper with us, we have Cy with us, and between the 5 of us, we'll sit down, we'll eat pizza, we'll talk about the people we'd like to have on our shows. Then we'll go through the type of stories we want to look at, and then we'll look at, you know, we'll plan the dates, and we want to know who's going to be champions here, there, and everywhere, who we're going to pass it to, and why. And we also look at different things like the length of how long we're going to hold the title for. Normally in the gala season, this year we had like a gala title that goes round, and we'll be doing that again this year. I think with possibly the open weight belt or something will be going around this year, and that'll be settled at the galas. So you might see, or you probably will see, a belt change hands. And when you go to a show, you look at any house shows at WWE, you never see a belt change. I always remember when Bret Hart won the championship in Saskatoon in Canada. And I think, what? How did that happen? And
Right?
it never happened. And for you to see a belt change or something like that, that's always a great hype and stuff like that. And I think that'll get used at our galas. And the lads absolutely love the galas. It's a great day out. I remember like this year at Seaburn, we all got sunburned one day. That was a Saturday. We come back, and I remember Persona was facing Alan Shaw, and Alan had sunburn on his back, and Persona double palm slapped him on his sunburn on his back. Yeah, not nice, but that's Persona. But anyway, I said to Alan, "You'll get your own back," and I'm sure he will. Absolutely certain he will.
Hello, Vextra. Welcome to the chat here. I hope you are well. Welcome, AJ. Welcome, Alfonso Allen. Welcome, everybody. How do you handle the pressure of putting on shows and making sure the audience has a great experience?
Well, I'm pretty laid back. There's a funny story about me. Look, I'm all about preparation. Don sorts out everything with the ring. Him and Rossi, that's all sorted. Simon's got all the details for the tech table, what's playing. I've got the commentators table. We do all the postering. We do all the flyering. We do all the social media. We do everything we possibly can. We prepare. I says, I don't care if there's 20 people in here or 200 people in here. We're going to put on a show. On a short day, I am mellow. One thing we do, all the wrestlers and all the crew get paid bank transfer the day before, so we're not worried about anything like that. We have the funds, so we've always got money there to pay people, so it's not something, because I know promotions, and I've seen it before, that if they haven't had a good day, the wrestlers don't get paid, and that's just unacceptable in my thought. And also, in the van, we've got I've got a pillow and 2 blankets. And what I'll usually do, say you get to the venues, like we're at Billingham this week, 10:30, and the show didn't start till 3:30. It's an hour and a half to put the ring up, and you got your chat and stuff. Well, sometimes I'll just go for a lie down, get a pillow, and put 2 blankets on me. I'll just go to sleep for an hour. And this is it. Ring eyes and stuff like this, or any of our shows, I'll just go for a sleep. And, people just, initially it was a bit of a shock, but now it's just, I'll just call someone to lie down for an hour. Yeah, just crack on. And yeah, I am so laid back, and we're all laid back, because one thing about a show, you're there to enjoy it. And there's no point me stressing if we're going to have a low attendance or high attendance. I can't make that mind up. We've done all the preparation. Afterwards, we can have a look and see what we could have done better. But on the day, just go there, enjoy it, remember things on the day, and yeah. Next time you speak to Simon G. Money, ask him how jammed up plastic chicken is. Yeah, that was quite funny at the weekend. So, but on a short day, I'm mellow, I'm calm. I'm usually, because we've been doing that much work, I'll just, find a bench or a chairs and stuff like that. Just put them together just to lie down. I know before any IWF shows, I'll arrive there at 12 o'clock with a van with a ring. The lads will get the ring out. We'll have a chat. We'll put the ring up. They won't let me carry all the big heavy bits now. Oh no, Colin, you get all the bungees sorted. You put all the screws and the bolts in. You do this, that, and the other. And let us big strong boys put all the metal work, the posts and the side arms and stuff like that. That's cool. And then we'll have a chat. So I'll just go for a lie down. I'll be asleep for an hour and a half. And that's cool. But I think that's an age thing. and people just smile. And the trouble is, once I go to sleep, you know, I'm quite fortunate. I can just fall asleep quite quickly, and I'll just set the alarm on my clock, and then I'll wake up an hour and a half later or something like that. And if I'm doing a commentary or something like that, I'm just mellow and ready for it. So crack on, and yeah, happy as a bunch of monkeys. It's as simple as that. I don't think there's many promoters who actually have a sleep at the show, is it? Before the show starts. But yeah, it's just me. That's what I do. That's cool.
You were telling me earlier how technology is a big help to you guys. Is that how you stay connected to the fans and keep them engaged?
Yeah, well, one thing we do is, I know there are all the different platforms and stuff like that, and you just got to use them. I know the old days of going out getting rained on and doing postering and stuff like that. That worked, but even at the show, technology really works. I've been to so many shows, and you have an announcer in that ring, and still when he's shouting out the name, I look to the person next to me and say, "Who? What did he say?" You've been there, you know what I'm on about. We always have a screen up, a video screen, and it's actually got a picture of both of them and the names on it. So you actually know who is who. And it's such a small thing and an easy thing to do. Simon will get all the videos ready prior, and then they just shoot up sometimes. There might be a little angle or a story leading up to the match, and we can play that on it. But on the screen, it's just looking, so you can actually see who's in the match. And yeah, for us, when we did a deal about getting a projector screen and stuff like that, and that was cracking. And it's something about being a USP, something little different, something extra, something you like and stuff like that. And you know, on a Monday morning after a show, it's great to see the emails in the email box saying, "Oh, you had a great show yesterday. I really enjoyed so and so and so and so." You know, and you know those things when you see those emails coming, it just puts a smile on your face and just thinks, "Yeah, we must be doing something right here. We must be doing something right." But as usual, I always want more people there. You know, you'd all like get jammed back to the rafters, standing room only, and stuff like that. But that only comes by time, experience, and reputation. We've got the reputation. We'll go through the time bit now, and that'll get to the experience bit. So it's not a 1 year project. It's not a 3 year project. This is a project which we're going to follow through and carry on with. Because one, we believe in it, and two, we've got trust in all our wrestlers, not just our wrestlers, all our crew as well. Because each of these have started neckheaded from nowhere, and all of a sudden we've taught them, we've shown them, we've educated them, and we'll crack on. And some of these people from a year and a half ago, completely 100% different, and now friends as well. And you know, it's absolutely great to see.
Indeed. I can't wait to see you guys continue to thrive and with your partner companies you guys work with. Mm-hmm. What's some crazy moments to have happened in DC so far during its tenure?
Crazy things have happened. I always remember, well, of course, there's the pastor and Don Bronson in his shorts. I remember that's crazy things.
Don in shorts? That's scary.
No. So the pastor went down the back of his shorts.
Oh, I think you said Don in shorts. I'm like, I thought he wears pants.
There he goes. But when pastor goes down the back of that's not good. We don't usually go for hardcore matches. It's just something that just one doesn't excite me. We did a ring hire for a company in the UK called Rise, and these are crazy feckers. And I took, for the first, it was a 2-day event in Sheffield. I took half that our announcer and Rossi down, and the pair of them sat at the end of the row. They were like clapping seals, watching these guys smash light tubes over each other. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Still, night 2 was pretty similar. And yeah, that's crazy for another company. ourselves at crazy. I always think in the comedic, in the laughter, and some matches like that. You get Simon G Money in, and he's a comedic wrestler. That's he can wrestle. He's a good wrestler, but comedy is his forte. And some of the funny matches we've had with Simon, and the things they've got him. I remember there was an Alan Shaw versus Simon G Money Max, and it was loser must wear a baby baby costume, and of course Simon, because he never wins, lost and had to wear this baby onesie and stuff like that. Oh, it wasn't particularly. Shall we say? It
I remember that match.
Nice. It looked really nice, but of course, Simon hammed and egged it up and stuff like that. And it's when you say memorable moments, it's title wins, it's championship wins, it's tournament finals, it's someone getting a debut, and then you see him come out the ring, and you see that big smile on their face, or you look at them and you know they've absolutely exhausted. They've left everything in that ring. As a promoter, you're grateful for that, and crack on. And it's afterwards they come and shake hands, say thank you and stuff like that. And that to me is only respect, and it's only it's a way that I feel that the youngsters and also help put the ring up and help take the ring down. Us at Dropkick, we have goodie bags. Okay. Now what happens is, at the end of the show, you help take the ring down, stuff like that. We've got a big box of goodie bags. Now some of these guys who are our show might be driving back to Scotland. It might be a 3-hour trip. Or it might be only half an hour or something like that. But everyone gets a goodie bag. And in the goodie bag, there is like a bottle of, like Lucas said, like a Monster drink, an energy drink. There's chocolate in there, there's crisps in there, there's a bit of fruit in there, some biscuits, something that you can then, on the way home, they can just eat while they're driving back, just to keep their energy levels up and stuff like that. Now, I think each of these bags costs us about £2 or £3 or something like that. But it's the optic of it. It's a thank you. It's an acknowledgement. And it gets them home. And that's all I'm worried about. They've got an energy drink, it's going to keep them awake. They've got something to eat, they're not going to be tired and stuff like that. And funny one, Spawn doesn't like fruit. Doesn't like fruit at all. So I always make sure his bags got extra fruit in. And when I took his round yesterday, we put extra tangerines in there. Knowing quite happily he'll not eat them. But anyway, he just knows as soon as he opens his goodie bag, there's going to be fruit in there, because he just hates fruit.
Everybody loves a good old goodie bag.
Oh, yeah. He loves the goodie bags. It's chocolate and the Monster drink and the biscuits and the crisps in it. And then all of a sudden, he said, I don't like this type of crisp. So we'll swap with someone then. That's your job. You got to buy a crisp, swap with someone. I don't like prawn cocktail. I like cheese and onion. We'll find someone with cheese and onion. Not my problem. Don't be ungrateful. There's a packet of crisps. I won't put one in next time. It's just a little thing. And as I say, it costs nothing. And as I say, all our competitors and our staff, we always have, I think they can have about 40 to 50 bottles of water backstage, so they don't have to bring energy drinks in or anything like that with them. Also, the venue don't like people bringing in drinks, but they happily accept us giving water to our staff and stuff like that. So that they always go through 30 or 40 bottles of water anyway. And you've been out there for a long match, you need rehydration, and that's what it's there for. And you get a pack of 12 for them, say £3, so you might have 4 packs of them, 12 to 15 quid. It's not a problem. I'd rather they have got the hydration than, thinking about getting someone else. But anyway, that's what we do. It's just a little one thing we do.
And you host your own show on your Dropkick page, and you used to have your own shows on a company called CCW where you had one for yourself and then you had one with Dustin Hart.
There we go. There we go. That's my drop kick tonight. That one. That's my Sunday night show usually. Yes, when I was at the other company, good friend of Dustin, and Saturday, Sunday night drop kick. It's still there. It was crazy things we used to do on there. But yeah, you can do stuff like that. But you always got to come up with different ideas, different things you want to try, and stuff like that. And I think I did neck of 150 shows of that, And
Yeah.
I used to do something in December. There used to be something called Wise Words with a Wise One.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe the Wise One. And this would go out every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it'd be quite surprising. And the music I would use was A Sky Full of Stars. I'll tell you a lovely story about that as well. Yeah, it's got me already. Being Spawn again, isn't it? It's a story. And this was his first match against Ewan Mackey. And 30 seconds before we're going through the curtains, I think Sean had recently left us just before it. And Spawn had changed his music and put a bit of Sky Full of Stars and Sean's voice into his intro. And he told me 30 seconds before we were going, and I looked at it, and he had that big cheesy grin on his face. I said, "What have you done?" And he just started chuckling, and we went through the curtains, and the music as it normally starts for him, but then he went into Sky Full of Stars, and he just looked at me. He gave me a hug, and at that point I was in tears, of course. And then we had Sean, and then about the 4 or 5 of us out with him. I think we were all about in tears, but no, they were good times. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of crazy stuff we got up to, and a lot of the people who met there have now morphed to other companies, UWA, Wrestling with Pride, IWF, Dropkick. You can always look
Alpha
back.
Championship Wrestling that I believe you must have done work with.
Yeah, Alba. I got to commentate once at Alba, and yeah, and that was in Edinburgh, I think it was. And they were just trying out this new venue, and I'd never met my colleague before. He says, "What you like, Colin? So what do you like to do and stuff like that?" I says, "Look, I just have my favourites, and neck of the day, I'm a fan. I'm just gonna enjoy life. I'm just gonna crack on and stuff like that." And it was great to work with. I know Jam and Craig and all the boys up at Alba, Devlin and Co. You shake their hands, and they're friends for life. And with wrestling, I've got a lot of friends for life now, and there's a lot of people want to respect, and two have become good friends, and you're part of the families. You get sort of, what are you doing Saturday? And I said, "Well, did you fancy this, that?" And, "Yeah, we'll come around, we'll have a drink, we'll have a laugh at a joke, we'll go for a meal or something like that." And sometimes, "Oh, do you want to go to a show? Let's go to a show. Let's go and have a look at who's on." And that's great. But it's all about enjoying it. And if you don't enjoy it, then you got to think, is this what I want to do? And currently we drop kicking the guys and ladies around me. This is a roller coaster that we're riding, but we keep going up. We haven't hit a big dip yet. Hopefully the big dips don't come. But my commentary work I do with other companies, the ring guys, it's just getting out and meeting people. And sometimes, you just got to find new friends here and new friends there, and you make acquaintances and friendships, and this leads on. It's just happening with the ring eyes. We got one recommendation from one, and then I went on to they recommended someone else, and all of a sudden you're doing loads of shows in a certain area. You think, Jesus, where do we get this from? And that's cool. That's cool. Absolutely cool.
What's one thing you wish you would have known before you started in the whole wrestling business?
As a manager, when I started that, I would possibly say you just got to develop your stories, sit down and plan where your tag team's going to go, or the guy you're looking at what he's going to do, trying to come with inventive stories and inventive ideas for the partnership. Sometimes who they put you with, sometimes it might not be the right fit for you as a manager. The same with dropkick. Sometimes you got to think about, is this the right thing to do at this right time? And sometimes it is. And sometimes we always have with three of us, a dropkick. It always comes to, 9 times out of 10, all three of us agree on something. We're very easy to all agree on something. But I said, if every time, we don't agree on something, it's got to be 2 out of 3, and someone's going to have to suck eggs. Have you heard of the phrase "suck eggs"?
I have never heard that phrase before.
Right. Okay. Right. When you suck an egg, shall we say, put an egg in your mouth, you're very quiet. And if two out of 3 of us agree on something, the other one's just got to accept it. And before we started the company, we all said that sometimes it's got to come to a point that we might be doing something that 2 out of 3 of us like, but the other one might not like. And we've just got to agree that because the other 2 think that's a good idea, that we're going to do it. And touch wood, I don't think we've had one point yet that we've never got to a 2 out of 3 situation. We've all compromised on things. There's some things that we've partly agreed on, and then all of a sudden says, well, why don't we do it this way and think about it this way? And we've always got to an agreement. It's all about reconciliation. It's always got about consequences. It's always got about, you've got to pick what's right for the business and what's right for you. And you just crack on with it. And that's the answer. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I've never heard that term until now. You're teaching me a lot of things as we do this. This is incredible.
That's no problem. Not a problem at all.
Have you ever had a moment in your career that maybe changed your perspective on the business?
Let me think. Moments and perspectives. Seen people win titles that, well, I remember when Alan Shaw won his title. I've seen when Spawns won titles. It's over the moon. Dagon win titles. I was so happy for him. And as a manager, it's not about me. I'm the old geezer. I'm the rudder of the ship. These 2 are the cannons. These 2 are the fighting force. These 2 are the ones that'll get you through it. I'm at the back. I'm not the wrestler. They're the wrestlers. They're the ones who people have come to see. They haven't come to see me. They've come to see them fight. And every time, if I was a manager with a tag team or with the elite or anything like that, just let them get on with it and just sit there, smile on my face. I wouldn't say I was smug or anything like that, but it's just about happy. They've done their job. I've done the job, and everyone's had a canny night. And it's as simple as that. Seeing someone get gold for the first time, and you see the happiness on the face, is just something that you just tick in a box and say, fine. As I say, it's never about me. It's about them, and that's cool.
And you have helped mentor a lot of these people, and you've seen them grow over time. Like you mentioned, like Spawn, Persona, Selfrina, Alan Shaw. You mentioned all of them, and you've helped boosted their careers, and they have definitely done so much with it.
What I do is I always make time to have a chat with as many people as I can, and they always know they can always come to me and ask me anything. Ask me what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Oh, I'm thinking about doing this. Or, you know, what do you think about this? If I changed this or I did different gear and stuff like that. And, you know, sometimes having someone, and I will tell them if it's dog shit as well. I'll tell them it's rubbish, it's crap. No, you know, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I think sometimes, you know, you get the people, oh, that's great, that's fantastic, you'll do well, that's super. That, nah, this is blooming life. This is their career. And what I'm trying to do is just give them that little nudge and just say, what moves are you thinking of developing and stuff like that. I think Sophia at her last show, she says, Colin, I'm thinking about using this move. Da 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 da. Says, how many times you practiced it? I says, have you got it right yet? She goes, no, but it'll look good. I says, look, people will remember if you botch something, but if you go through a match, you've got an outstanding spot, they'll remember it. So until you get that thing you're looking at spot on, you feel confident, do it. But otherwise, I'd say no. And she didn't. And that was fine. She heeded. And that was canny. But, you know, all the others that come to me, they just might, you know, sometimes, you know, mental health in wrestling, some of the guys can be up and down. And sometimes, you know, if I haven't heard from someone for a while, I'll just send them a WhatsApp or a video call and say, how are you doing and stuff like that. Or I've lost my job, called, da, 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 da. Or I'm being fairly well, or my mum's not well, or my sister, this, that, and the other, and stuff like that. And we'll just sit down, we'll have a chat for 10 minutes. We'll try and think of how we can get out the hole or whatever he's worried about or she's worried about. And just, sometimes it's just having someone to talk to. Got something over in the UK. Have you heard of Andy's Man Club?
Andy's Man Club?
Yeah. And what
I have not, sir.
Right. Andy's Man Club, if you have a look on the interweb. And this is a men's group session. It's usually on a Monday night. And men just go and share their woes and worries. Okay, just men. You know, because men don't talk. Men don't communicate. Men don't show their emotions. And it's a safe space. And what I always feel, stuff like that is great. And I know when I talk to one or two of the lads, I know some of them, I know one of them had an energy drink addiction. Was going through so many cans of these energy drinks a day, and he was high as a bloody kite on them and stuff like that. But it would get the buzz from it and stuff like that. And you just have to think, you know, why are you doing it? You know, cut it down and stuff like that. Try and do it. Or sometimes you just ring them up and just say, "You're all right. What are you thinking of? What do you want to talk about?" Stuff like this. And sometimes just sit there and listen to someone. It's therapeutic for them, and also for me. I know I'm helping someone, and that's it's for me. I'm doing something positive, and that's part of life. You're not here on this earth to do evil. You're here to help your fellow mates and stuff like that. You help your friends, and sometimes just a 5-minute phone call, just a check-in, or a tick, or a like, or a love, or something on Facebook, or something like that. And, you know, it's cracking. And just sometimes send them a message in Messenger. I haven't spoke for a while. You know, which show are you working at next? I might pop down and see you, and stuff like that. Is, you know, I want to go out and see the shows anyway, and by seeing someone that, you know, it makes my day because I've seen them, and hopefully it'll just, they might have that extra performance then on the show, know that you're coming down to see them. But well, that's cool. But no, that's what you do. That's part of life's rich tapestry.
That's very nice. And how do you guys and yourself, like, and the wrestlers, how do you handle injuries or setbacks?
Right, dead easy, dead easy. We had one of the lads who was due for a show a couple of months ago. He'd been in a rumble. He came out of it, and we thought he had a concussion. If anyone has a concussion at dropkick, it's an automatic 30-day medical suspension. Doesn't matter if you're trainee or the top number one. You don't wrestle in our ring for a month. Not at all. We're not allowed. It's just part of our ethic. At our shows, we have a trained paramedic on site. We normally have Don, who's a trained first aider, and also, we spoke earlier about Brian Chaplow. He usually attends the shows, but he always comes in as our third backup. So we always have 3 paramedics or 3 medical knowledge at any of our shows. Touch wood. We might have had a cut of graze down again. We had someone overheated at one of the shows and stuff like that. You get bumps and cuts and stuff like that, which is all part of life's rich tapestry. But no, always having medical attention at ringside and numerous medical attention. So if anything did happen to any of them, we're in there straight away.
You look out for your people. You make sure that they're all accommodated for, even the fans.
Well, even me, if I wasn't feeling well, I'm sure they'd look after me or anyone. And as I always say, when I always come out at the beginning of the show, I introduce people, right, these two, is Sue is one of the camera ladies, and Jem's one of the camera ladies. I say, Si's at the merchant, Rossi's at the merchant. Emily over there is your lead first aider on commentary. There's so-and-so, Andy's on the bell, Damon's on it. So everyone gets to know everyone's name. And if you ever see a dropkick top, we've always got our names on the top of the t-shirts. So everyone doesn't have to ask my name. They'll see Colin Barker written on that top. They'll see Don Bronx. They'll see Andy, King of Ding Ding. They'll see Simon, Monica the Merch. They'll see Rossi on there. They'll see everyone's name on their tops. So you never have to worry what someone's name is, because it's always on the gear. Because, at the end of the day, if you've got a problem, you know my name, because it's on there. And it always starts a conversation when we do ring hires. I see Don and Colin on there, and everyone knows us. And that's easy when it starts conversations. And people aren't worried about, what's your name, or trying to reduce yourself. They'll just come up, shake hands, say, how are you doing, Colin? So that's what it says on there, and that's cool. And I'm happy as part of the branding for the company. And as I say, I think Martin Kirby's watching. Great used to join us, Martin. I had a lovely little cheeky match with you in this Sunday. And he's got his opportunities contract. Martin currently holds a contract that he can, within the next about 9 months left, he can cash it in against any champion. And he's flirting this piece of paper around, especially near our Alan Shaw. He hasn't cashed it in yet, but you never know. But he could cash it in on Silas, the open weight, or he'd find himself a mate and take on the Bronze and stuff like Cat Mafia for the tag teams. So, first aid is immensely important. And the last thing I want to see is anyone with an injury. And you only stop injuries by, as I say, training, experience, and as I say, don't try and pull moves off that you haven't trained before to do, because it only makes you look a pelican.
You guys are one big family, and like Dagon was saying, you guys have formed a bond, and you've formed a bond with many, and that's just incredible to hear.
Well, it's all about business. It's about communications, having a network. I could always ring up, I would have thought, most promoters in the area and say, I'm looking for someone who could do this and stuff like that. And I might say, we've got someone here in our academy and stuff like that who'd love a little shop. So we'll bring them down, let's have a look. And that's great. Or they might ring me up and say, I'll say, well, have you thought about this guy? Have you thought about that guy? Have you thought about this youngster? We get this guy down from Scotland. You know, he can drive. That's one thing a wrestler must do. They must learn to drive. You know, it's easier booking someone who could drive a car than someone who's going to bring someone. So, as a wrestler, always think, get yourself one, a passport, and two, a car driving license. Because the further on in your career, you might be needing to up in the air, off to France, Germany, Belgium, Italy, all over the place. You know, sky's your limit. As I say, Big Mick, Penelope went across to China early this year, and for them, you know, it's something you're never going to forget. Get your passport, get your driving license, sunshine. Yeah.
Most indeed agreed. Most indeed agreed. If you could collaborate with any company that you haven't before, any kind of people you haven't before, like in the business, who would they be?
That's very easy. Ourselves, IWF, have never done a joint show. And it's always on my tick box that we do have a joint show sometime, whether that's in the near future or way off. We have irons in the fire of doing joint shows in a number of other companies, not in the near future, but there are discussions about it, and we're always looking forward to that. I can't tell you that because that's pretty secret to us. And when we announce it, we'll be all rubbing hands and clapping well. But no, I'd love to get the boys at Wrestling with Pride, IWF, and a lot of the local companies. We just have a big one night WrestleFest, you know, and everyone brings a team or stuff like that. And we just have a night, we just enjoy wrestling. And, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, who wins or loses. It's all about putting on a great show.
That's awesome. And I would love to see that. I know the people would love to see that.
Yeah, it's sometimes egos get in the way, but as far as I'm concerned, look, you do it. People do wrestling because they love it. It puts them in a positive frame of mind. It helps their mental health. It helps their physical fitness, and it also makes a lot of friends.
Indeed. And I did have a big set of questions, but some of them were already answered without me even asking you, which I thought was incredible. I'm like, we're on the same mindset with stuff. But I do come down to the final question that I have that I have not really asked you yet, or you've not answered yourself, that it's, what do you want your legacy to be?
There's no real legacy. I just want to know that to anyone that I have met in the wrestling company, met in the wrestling ring, worked with, had a chat with, they'll always remember that there were wise words from the wise one, and also that, you know, I was a good friend to listen to, and that how much I enjoyed going to a wrestling show, having those. It's like somebody says to me, wrestling's my happy place. I can go to a show for 2 hours, you can forget what's going on in the world. You go in that complex, that centre, that sports hall, that working men's club, and you sit there for 2 hours, enjoy the show. And my legacy is just seeing the smiles on their faces when they win their first titles, when they've achieved something, they've got a booking for a big company, or they've got an opportunity, and they've taken the opportunity, and that would be my legacy for them. That they had the opportunity to get on the first rung of the ladder, and then that first rung has gone to the next rung, and that's as simple as it gets.
Thank you for your wise words, wise one. Also the genius Colin Barker. Do you have anything you would like to say or promote, like, before we get off here? Because I did get down to my final question, but I would like to give you this final time to say what you have to say. And is there anything you would like to promote?
Well, just our next show's on Saturday, the 8th of February. IWF is a week on Friday, the 5th of December. Wrestling with Pride is this Saturday up at Biker. all our good friends, all people that when you go and see them, there's plenty of hugs and smiles and handshakes. Enjoy your wrestling. Enjoy your time, whether you're in the ring or you're watching a show. Just go there and enjoy it. And as I always say to the wrestlers, get your merch out. Get your merch out and sell some of your merch. Because sometimes your merch can make it as much as your fee. And that can just make it, quite positive for you. Just enjoy your shows. And as I say, from a young lad going to watch a show at your local community hall a decade of 55 years ago, and as I approach my 60th birthday next summer, I already know that IWF have got something up their bloody sleeves, because when they booked the ring hires and stuff like that, they booked it on one of my birthdays. I'm not sure about this date. Oh yeah, we know about that date. I was like, what you got up to? Nothing. Dear. I think they've got some mischief for me next summer, for my birthday. And as I say, I'm not worried about it. I trust them implicitly. I'm sure there'll be alcohol involved. And I think it'll be a celebration. And it will be a celebration because I'll be celebrating our friendships and just looking, even the fans, come to all the shows, shake their hands, see how they're doing, whether they enjoyed it, stuff like that. It's simple. It's a people thing. It's a community thing. It's a personal thing where you make that interaction and you get the people and want to believe in what we're doing. And that's what we do. We do a canny job. I enjoy it. It's kept me up for hours nights, but you just sit down and as my old grandma used to say, never make a decision straight away. Always sleep on it, Col, because you'll feel better in the morning. And sometimes you change your mind in the morning. Some days you're still befuddled. You got to ask someone what their opinion is. That's cool. Never be afraid. Risk a little. Always, if you're not feeling good, always talk to someone. That's my best advice to anyone.
Thank you, old wise one. Thank you for joining me on here today. This was such a huge honor. I'm sorry for the implications we had freaking earlier, but I'm glad we finally got through it.
Look, I love it when a plan comes together, and it did. But you won't remember that. You're too young.
Yes, indeed. And now we know if you ever want to come on next time, we need to use the phone. But you're always welcome on here. And if you ever need anything like me to help promote anything, like I post out your guys' stuff on my page and stuff about Dropkick, Imperial, Wrestling with Pride, Impulse. Like, I'm always happy to help in any way I can. And what you guys do, it's incredible to me. And you guys are going to continue to thrive. And thank you for everything you guys do.
Hey, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. When you initially spoke to me, you want me on? Why do you want me on? You don't need me on. And I'm an old geezer. You don't old geezers on, do you? Get those young wrestlers talking about their ambitions and stuff like that. But I suppose sometimes listening to the old geezer might be a good idea. Right, you go and enjoy your day. Put your feet up. It's 9:15 here in the UK. I am one of these people. I am not a night owl. I go to bed early, and I'm one of these people up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm raring for the day. So I'm about quarter out of my bedtime. So I'll let you boys get away. Enjoy your day. I'll see you when I get my glasses, and you know what that is. Genius.
You have a great night, sir.
Night night. See you soon.